All right, all right. What's going on, folks? Welcome to another edition of Boxing Chit. It's been a good while, but we're back in the mix here. Myself, Joshua, holding it down with my man Boz. What's going on with your Boz?
Oh, nothing much. I'm back from my holiday, and yeah, I kind of haven't done this in a while, so I'm happy to be back in the saddle, as they call
Indeed.
it.
Indeed, yeah, happy to have you back. Yeah, I know we missed a few weeks, so a good deal of boxing that we didn't get to chat about. So we'll touch on a mix of all of that, or at least what we can. And in the meantime, of course, as we also always say, thank you for those that will be listening here live with us. Thank you to those that will be listening on the replay. More to come for sure, and we can dive straight into it. But first, shout out to my man Skywalker Boxing says, "Let go, let's go." Dropped in the chat, so salute there to you, Skywalker Boxing, Skywalker Boxeo. You see it there, folks. If you're, of course, listening, you can see it on the screen there. Be sure to go give him a like, give him a subscribe, all of that good stuff here on YouTube. Skywalker Boxeo. And be on the lookout for the Tim and Tim show. That's one where we dive into boxing
Oh,
as
yeah.
well during the nighttime there every Sunday. So salute in that regard. Boz back in the saddle indeed. Indeed he is.
Thanks. Thanks,
So
bro.
crazy night of boxing here. I guess you can say weekend. One
Yeah,
thing we can start with is, of course, Junto Nakatani. He got a big knockout over Astrolabo, and this came in the first
yeah,
round. I didn't get to see the full fight, but that being said, it was the first round, so it's not necessarily a full fight.
yeah,
Either way, that is one
yeah.
that is worth mentioning because Junto Nakatani just keeps showing that he is one of the best that the sport has seen. So, what did you think of that knockout, and where Nakatani goes from here, the boss?
Yeah, that was brutal. A body shot. Oh man, what a body shot that was. I mean, yeah, Astrolabio, he was a decent contender. I've come across him before, across him, sorry, his name, and he's no bum anyway. He's a Filipino, I believe, fighter,
Yeah,
and they are usually tough and in game, and and so that was another display of power by Nakatani, and now he actually has won titles in three different weight classes. So, I'm anxious to see whether he will stay at bantamweight very long or he will move up and eventually chase, a fight against Inoue, his countryman. And yeah, so that's a fight everybody wants to
yeah,
see, I believe, right now. And yeah, so
yeah.
not
That's a big
not
time
much
fight.
more to say. Impressive victory, and yeah, once again he cements his position as one of the fighters to watch in the small divisions.
Yeah, so that would be a big time fight, no doubt about it. There, buys.
You
Maybe we
get
get that as far as the contest with uh,
you know what
in a way. Sorry, yeah, in a way, I had to do some
you
camera
know yeah.
adjustments right there. You just saw, but anyway, yeah, maybe we get that one. Then another one that I saw was thrown out there: the potential of Bam Rodriguez. Say he goes to 118, which he's a division from 118 now, and he had been at
Yeah.
115. Did he move down to 112? Back at 115? Maybe Nakatani's there long enough, and Bam moves up in time for that to become a fight. So there are really kind of two options that might be out there for a
Yeah.
potential super fight with Nakatani, with either Inoue
Yeah,
or Bam Rodriguez.
in those divisions, there aren't that many big names, so the best fighters often have to move up after not being too long, in one division because they want to, chase greatness. So yeah, often they have to move up, and go hunting for the very best. So I
Yeah.
believe Bam will want to do that. Yeah, soon enough. Yeah, anyway.
And in that case, the fans will certainly win. Skywalker Boxio says we got Stacey Suttles and Olympian making her pro debut next week coming on tonight. Awesome, awesome. Stacey Suttles. So that's what's up right there, Skywalker. Looking forward
Oh,
to that. Shout out to my man Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz and more. Says yo, but two brothers Boz and Josh. Hey, appreciate you there, Bruce. Thank you for dropping by per usual. Everyone, go check out Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Go subscribe. Great content, entertaining, and you're going to get some great interviews and touches on some history stuff as well, along with those quizzes, which I always look forward to there, Bruce. So appreciate you there dropping by, Bruce. Skywalker says, sends his regards. And then I've never had a wrench on this channel. Skywalker Boxio says, oh, really interesting. I just got off your Pete Ruts review. Great. Okay, you need to hard not to pull a drunk Irishman all the time. Oh, I got you there, Skywalker. I didn't know that was the case there. But good stuff. So appreciate it. So yeah, Boz. So Nakatani, we talked to him, and yeah, sky's the limit there. Potential good fights, but also I know it's one you didn't catch, but Alex Rocha, he made his return back to the ring, and he picked up a victory in solid fashion in there with a big guy in, what is his name here? Let me see what his name is, because
Dominguez or something.
Oh yeah, Mendez, yeah, Dominguez. Mendez. Yes, you're right, a Mexican fighter.
Yeah.
And he was bigger and looked more solid and stronger than Rocha. I would say those first two rounds looked like it was going to be a long night for Rocha, especially if he opted to stand in exchange with Dominguez. But turns out he started to box, showed a little different side of him there, Boz, in terms of he was really working off the back foot, working behind the jab, and he started to control the pace completely, and he was picking off Dominguez, and Dominguez wasn't liking the shots that were coming to the body from Rocha, and Rocha got himself back in the win column. He looked good, and he weathered the early storm of Dominguez, who came in and was trying to apply his trade on the inside where he would prevail with his strength and all, but Rocha showed that he could box, and he still maintained enough power that he had Dominguez in trouble often during that fight, especially as mentioned with the body work. So Rocha, of course, is at 147 pounds. And one of the things that we always say, or we've said as of late, is 147 seems to be pretty darn wide open. And thinking of that there, Boz, we're actually going to pull that up right there. But just in general, let me know what your thoughts are on Rocha based on what you have seen, knowing that he has some pretty solid potential.
Yeah, he has rebounded from that quite shocking loss to Santillan. And it was just one of those things that happen. You know, sometimes you get caught and nothing you can do about it. So I guess it wasn't a good night for him, but he's proven that he's really has quality. He's a quality fighter, definitely. And ironically, Santillan went on to get knocked out by Brian Norman Jr. So, yeah.
Shows how styles make fights right there. It's pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it would go between Rocha and Brian Norman, as well as a rematch with Santillan, but it's pretty interesting. Or Norman versus, just the mix of them, they're fighting together. Yeah, just would be pretty interesting. But looking at the ring ratings, they had Rocha, they have him at 9, but I believe they had him at 10 previously as well. I could be thinking wrong, but anyway, he's coming in at 9. But you get to see that at the top, of course, Terrence Crawford, we know he's going to go away. We know that Errol Spence is going to move out of there. So relative to that happening, it seems that everyone would just essentially shift up, and that would put Boots in it at number 1, which I think is the consensus right now. I think the consensus is that Boots is the number 1 147-pounder right now. Then Montes Stanionis, who would be number 2, but I understand that he fought at 154 maybe in his last fight or something like that.
I think so. I don't know if he has permanently moved up there, but Virgil Ortiz, we know, has, of course. So 154 suddenly got really packed there.
Yeah, certainly it is. So hopefully Stanionis comes back down to 147, assuming he can make the weight, because I think that he is a solid opponent right there. It would be a tough opponent there that Boots could go against, and I think that's a good fight, Boots versus Stanionis. But if Stanionis is not there, then of course we have the rest of the field. Mario Barrios, who's been there for a good little bit down, and is someone who would be a solid challenge for anyone. World title list.
Yeah.
Let's see. He has the WBC. Yep, he does have the WBC title. So
Mm.
he'll be an interesting opponent. I think Boots beats him, though it'll be a decent fight, I'd imagine. We know Avanesian just went down. Brian Norman Jr. is interesting. Santillan is still interesting as well. And then we have Jayasov. He's an interesting opponent as well, who I've seen and seems to be fairly promising. So he could, work his way up the rankings even more. Then Sasaki, I don't think I've seen him, but I imagine that would be an interesting one if I were to look into what he's done thus far. But I don't think I've seen him. I don't know if you've seen Sasaki. It's, I guess, a Japanese welterweight that is out there. 17-1-1 from what I saw there. But that being said, it's pretty much wide open at 147 pounds if you want to come in there and try to make some noise right about now. And it looks like two of the belts are, I guess, vacant, or will become vacant by virtue of Terrence Crawford moving up. So we might see all four belts on a different person,
Yeah, it's pretty exciting now because the division is so wide open, as you said. Yeah, I mean, we got also the dark horse Conor Ben still also in the mix.
Oh, yeah. Connor, he's not showing right there, but he is someone who could be a dark horse, as you mentioned. And matter of fact, while we're on here, I did mention it, Boots versus Avanesian. That was another fight that took place. We didn't get to chat about there. It ended a bit early when it actually went down, but Boots was putting his title on the line in Philadelphia. About 14,000 plus fans came to show up and support Boots Ennis in that contest, and it turned out to be a pretty solid one. And Avanesian, as I understand, may have gotten his jaw broken there at the end of the fifth round. I believe it was stopped, or into the fourth round it was stopped. Something like that too.
After the fifth,
after the fifth, okay. What were your thoughts on what you saw there? Because Avanesian, he's one of those guys that has been in with some tough challengers, and I think he's a solid sort of barometer to kind of see where a fighter can head to at that elite level,
Yeah, I mean, he gave Ennis a pretty good fight. There were a lot of exchanges, and but Ennis being the harder hitter and bigger man altogether, just obviously it was enough to break his jaws, the Avanesian's jaw. I mean, and it was a pretty competitive fight. All those 5 rounds were, like. I didn't feel like it was a domination by Ennis, but he was obviously the one who landed the heavier shots. Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Looks like my other camera isn't gonna act right today, so I'm just gonna stick with the webcam. Right. But no, I'm with you there. One thing that was pretty glaring to me there, Boz, I will say, is just how big Ennis looked in comparison to Avanesian. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think 154 is going to be an issue at all for Boots when he moves up. And then, of course, 160. But he looked to be the bigger fighter most definitively in that contest.
Yeah, well, Avanesian, he was always a natural welterweight. And I don't know if he started even out as a welterweight. But anyway, he's and now also getting on up there in age, and all this has contributed. I believe he was also inactive for a while. Coming into this bout, and so as you mentioned, I think he came in like on a short notice or something, I believe.
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks notice because, or something around 3 weeks notice because
Yeah.
Boots was supposed to take on Cody Crowley, and Cody Crowley,
Oh yeah.
excuse me, pulled out with some issues which were apparent from the start, as a matter of fact. But it ended
Yeah.
up being Avanesian replacing him. And as I mentioned, and this is something we talked about, I think on the Tim and Tim show or whatever, that Avanesian, he did look a bit loose. So I don't know that we got the best version of Avanesian from being able to put in a full camp. You know what I'm saying? So I think that
Yeah.
showed
Yeah.
somewhat.
Yeah, he didn't have a last year he only had one fight. That's right. After he was knocked out by Crawford, and yeah,
Yeah.
so that was the inactivity I was talking about. It wasn't that long before his last fight. I mean, his previous fight, but before that he hadn't had a fight for a year. So yeah, there you
Yeah, and
go.
that's one of the things that has kind of plagued him. Not that he wasn't looking for them, but some guys didn't want to take him on. He's one of those kind of high risk, low reward type fighters in some sense. Remember, he upset the
Yeah,
apple cart on Josh Kelly, who was expected to be kind of one of those next big things there at welterweight. And the verdict, of course, is still out. I think Kelly's at 154 now, but
yeah,
yeah, Ebenezer is one of those guys that can upset the apple cart for sure.
that was a pretty impressive performance. Yeah, by Oanisian. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He had a few really good wins, also against the Spanish puncher Learaga. You remember
Oh
him?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He scored two consecutive knockouts against him. So yeah, that was really amazing. Especially second fight, he stopped him in one round. Because in
Oh
the
yeah.
first, everybody thought, yeah, maybe it was just a slip for Learaga, and then he
Oh
got
yeah.
destroyed completely in the
Yeah, I
second.
remember Leo Raga. He could put fans in the seats. You know, he was a big
Yeah,
ticket seller.
yeah, he's a puncher and all that. He's a tough guy, but he was destroyed by Avanesian, and that was a big surprise.
Hmm. Yeah, you know, it's kind of crazy how some of those styles end up coming into the fold. Skywalker Boxing mentions, man, I wanted to see Virgil Ortiz fight Stanionis. Yeah, man, that would have been a mouth-watering fight right there.
Yeah,
That one, man, we're so looking forward to it. Just was plagued by the delays and other issues coming about, and we unfortunately didn't get to see it. But maybe, just maybe, it happens at 154 pounds at some point down the road.
mm,
Time will
maybe,
tell.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
time will surely tell. You never
Yeah,
know.
that's a shame. That fight was supposed to happen. Yeah, well, nothing you can do. I guess Virgil
Yeah,
just
yeah.
grew outgrew that division, and yeah,
Yeah, they just went through a spat of unluckiness, I guess you can say, as it related to yeah, getting that fight scheduled and then being able to do their thing there. So yeah,
Mhm.
interesting stuff for sure. So another one I wanted to mention there, Boz, we didn't get to talk about it, but you know, Roman Gonzalez was back in action as well. Chocolatito,
Oh
who picked
yeah,
up a win, a 10th round knockout in his home country in front of a pretty raucous crowd. They had a lot of support out there. So he's a name there at Superfly. Still, this was at like 117 pounds, I believe, a catch weight or something to that tune. But that being said, yeah, he showed this was his first fight since fighting El Gallo, aka Mr. Juan Francisco Estrada, and
mm,
that begs the question of whether we see Bam Rodriguez go up against Chocolatito at some point as well, since he's becoming essentially the legend killer at this juncture.
yeah.
That's what I
What a
call him.
name! Another great name to add to his resume. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think Chocolatito could, at this point anyway, probably not beat Bam Rodriguez. And yeah, I don't know if he would get destroyed like Estrada was, but
yeah,
the chances are big. Yeah, I think, yeah. Even though I don't think Chocolatito has ever been knocked out, but I don't
Oh, he
Neither was
was
a
by
star.
Sarungvis, I remember. That's the first one to beat him and stop him in the
Oh
second fight.
yeah, that's right. Actually, yeah, he was.
And it was a
But yeah,
pretty vicious one, too. A right
and
hook.
Estrada was not before Bam knocked him out. He was never knocked out
Yeah,
before.
correct.
So
Correct.
that speaks volumes, so I guess, about Rodriguez and his power and all that. Yeah, his
Yeah.
ability to score knockouts also.
Yeah. And it was a good fight. The only drawback, of
Yeah.
course, being that leading into it, in it's similar to Chocolatito, was that when uh, Estrada fought Rodriguez, that was his first fight since he had last fought Chocolatito, and that was well over a year out,
Yeah.
probably closer to 2 years than 1 year, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, many thought he shouldn't have gotten that fight, I mean, that victory over Chocolatito back then. But
Yeah.
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 And
I'm one
he
who
did.
thought Chocolatito won.
Yeah. I know their first fight was in like 2012, and Chocolatito won back
Yeah.
then. It was when he was considered like unbeatable. Like he had, I think, run up to 46-0 or something.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think before the first loss. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He was on a run like a son of a gun, as they
Yeah, he
say.
was on all the top pound for pound list, like top five. And yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and exciting fighter too, because he's very offensive, and he still is
Oh, yeah.
offensive. So he comes and brings
Yeah.
that work for sure. Skywalker Boxeo says Legend Chocolatito like Serrano being questioned, but still got the skills to take care of business. Certainly, he does. He does. I think it just depends on who he matches up with, and I think he'll give Bam a pretty solid run there in the first few rounds there, and maybe Youth takes over. But one never knows, how it depends on how Bam deals with the power of Chocolatito, assuming Chocolatito can land the way he has been able to on others.
Yeah.
So that would be the big kind of question right there. But that would certainly be a fight worth checking out there. So I wanted to mention that one. We didn't get to talk about. I lost to Martinez. Yeah, I thought Martinez would win that contest, and he ultimately did. Let me see what else here. I'm just going up the list. Tevin Farmer. I don't know if you saw that, but he lost to Raymond Murtaya.
No, but I did kind of have Murataya winning that fight before. I thought he would win the fight, so
Oh yeah,
proved me right. Yay! I
yeah.
think I don't know what happened. Doesn't say who won that fight. You know that Jezreel Corrales he fought also last
Oh yeah,
night, or
last night.
Jezreel. Yeah.
Oh, I
So
didn't know that.
it's against somebody called Fonseca. Maybe Skywalker knows how that went.
Fonseca.
Do you know Tim? Yeah, Francisco
I think
Fonseca.
It's Fonseca. He might be the one that Ryan Garcia knocked out with that one punch left hook knockout
Probably.
a few years back. I think that's who Fonseca is, as a matter of fact.
Of course, Corrales is actually only known for being the guy to end the career of was it Uchiyama or no, the other Japanese Yamanaka, was it? No, it was Uchiyama actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yamanaka was destroyed by Neri. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Corrales. Yeah, he certainly started out pretty solid, but it's been up and down since then for sure.
And Uchiyama was probably my favorite. Well, one of my favorite Japanese fighters back then. He was really outstanding.
Knock him out in the second round. But Corrales, he's been up and down for sure. I didn't know he had fought, but that is the Fonseca. This was in Costa Rica, it looks like. But that's that Fonseca that was in there with Ryan Garcia when Ryan Garcia knocked him out in the first round. And looks like Fonseca, he also lost to Haratunian.
You watch Jake Paul instead, Tim. Come on. What kind of boxing fan are you?
No, I was able to check that out. Was that on the Yoka Val card? I wish I would have saw that one. I missed that Jake Paul card last night. Yeah, I don't know what station was showing that.
I know she lives in Costa Rica. I know that Yoka. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, she does. So that explains it because yeah, she did fight. Yeah, I don't know if a major broadcast had that wouldn't 'cause I can't remember what it's on, but yeah, of course I saw that one as well. The Paul when I was gonna mention Skywalker said Chocolatito versus Nonito Legends fight. Yeah, that'd be very interesting right there.
I don't know
That'd
if
be very
Nonito
interesting.
is really. I think he will probably get destroyed at this point. Yeah, I don't. Maybe not, but he is definitely, kind of washed up by now. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
also like 42 or something, I believe now. Yeah,
yeah,
so
it'll be interesting for sure. He has the size on Chocolatito, but yeah,
yeah, but not that much. Yeah,
yeah, Chocolatito. You could argue fresher because Nonito's
yeah.
been in at that very
I
top
mean,
level as well, and he's gone up and come back down. Of course, found new life
yeah,
back at 118.
Nonito got a great record, no doubt. I mean, it's full of really big names, but maybe not all of them are in their prime, but it's still a great looking record he got. Yeah, like Darchinian and Sidorenko and Montiel and
Yeah,
those guys. What was his name? The guy from South Africa. You know, uh,
so
really great
well, who did you
fighter.
say? What's his name?
Uh, I'm trying to remember. He was a flyweight champion also from South Africa. Well, anyway, Donaire beat him, but it was kind of a cut or something.
Mm,
Uh,
mm.
I will remember his name. Don't worry.
Yeah, I had to pull up his record, but yeah, he had some good names there for sure. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. First ballot.
Mm,
That's what I
yeah,
think. But yeah,
he
he has
will get in.
Jorge Arce.
He will get in there definitely. Yeah, yeah. He knocked out Arce. That's right. Who
Yeah,
himself's got quite a record also.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, did he lost to Nicholas Walters at 130, 135, I
Yeah.
believe it was, or
No, 126
oh
or
yeah,
something.
126. Yeah, you're right, 126, not
That proved
135.
he wasn't really made out to be a featherweight.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
and Nicholas Walters was on a tear at that particular point. Uh,
Until Loma
yeah,
stopped that.
yeah, he
Ruined
stopped that
him.
train, and he stopped him from fighting until recently.
Yeah,
Interestingly
that
enough,
was that was a cruel kind of schooling. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So interesting. Yeah, interesting. And I've shared the story before, but I had gotten tickets to that fight. As a matter of fact, had two of them, but ended up not getting the hotel and flight in enough time. I waited to the last minute, and it was going to be uber expensive. So I was like, dang, you know what? Not going to do that. And so I gave them to a colleague who was in Vegas, and he
No.
went to it. And one of the things he asked me is, why did Walters just quit like that? And I was like,
Hmm.
I don't know. It's crazy. It wasn't expected for sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting
that
indeed.
was in that time.
They had a good
Yeah, I
understanding.
believe that. Even though the main fight was kind of a stinker.
Yeah, it was. It was. But yeah, Ashton H2O Silv, yeah, he got knocked out. Yeah, he was winning, man. I wasn't even paying attention when that knockout came. Have you seen that, Boz? It's one of those knockout
I
of the year type things.
think so. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I believe his name is actually Silv
Yeah,
something.
Silv. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ashton
like
Silv, H2O
French. Yeah.
Silv. And he
Mm.
yeah, he looked like Pacquiao when he was laying there after Marquez knocked him out, basically.
Yeah,
It was one of those
obviously.
things. Goes to show you got to be engaged and on all fight. It just so happens Lucas Body caught him with a nice little right hook, then another right hook followed with that left hook that just ended the night. It was like crazy.
Also, there was a surprise. I think when in an English fight anyway, Liam Heaney was it who lost, got knocked out after first, like
Oh yeah, I
being
didn't get to see that one. I think it was
dominant.
on BT Sports. I wanted to see it, but
Yeah.
I didn't have
What
that. But
was
yeah, I
the
saw
name?
that Paul beat him 12th
Yeah,
round. Wow.
Paul. That's right. Yeah, not Jake Paul, another
Yeah,
Paul.
yeah, not Jake, but a different one. The British Pauls. Falls with an S.
Heaney.
Yeah. So Heaney. I remember I picked Heaney to win coming into
It's
that
not
contest.
William. I don't know what his first name was. But anyway, yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It
very
was a
interesting.
12th round knockout, wasn't it? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was 12 rounds. Crazy. Yeah, I picked Usman
Nathan.
Eshelman to beat Cooper. I picked him leading into it because I thought he had more experience, and turns out he did. Got the 10th round stoppage right there, Eshelman.
Really? I thought he would win, but I didn't go for a knockout victory.
Yeah,
Brad Pauls was the
Brad
guy's
Paul.
name. And the guy is Nathan Heaney. The
Nathan Heaney. Yep. So, hey, a name to watch there. Brad Pauls. Let's see what he can do because this was for British middleweight championship.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he can do from here for sure. So that is a name that will most certainly pop back up once again. And we'll see.
They already fought to a draw, earlier this year, apparently. Yeah, those two. Yep.
Okay. So, that seemed like a pretty decent card. Chantel Cameron got a majority decision victory over McCall. So, this turned out to be tougher than expected for Chantel Cameron, I guess. Zach Parker got a victory.
I like Amanda Serrano. She really, she can she can bang, man.
Really. Oh yeah, Amanda Serrano, one of the best in the world for sure. She handled that girl that she was taking on with relative ease last night. She was obviously in over her head from the jump, and Serrano didn't hold back at all. I think stellar performance in her part, having someone in there that you can defeat. You got to take them out, and that's what Serrano did. So that was her mindset from the jump right there. I'm going to take this young lady out, and she was able to do so. So big ups to Amanda Serrano. That was Morgan. Her name was something Morgan, Katie Morgan, or what is her name? Let me see here.
She got no real rival. I
Morgan.
So at that weight, is she featherweight or super featherweight or something?
Yeah, it's a huge step up for her, and it showed right there because Serrano gave it to her, and this sets things up in November. So Serrano's going to be rematching with Katie Taylor at 140 pounds this time around. And that was a hell of a fight last time out.
Yeah, Chantel Cameron, she won also, last night. A majority decision.
Yeah. Chantel left Matchroom Boxing. I wonder if after her last contest, they parted ways. It was like a mutual agreement thing. And I wonder if it was to do with the getting another shot at Katie Taylor, because that didn't happen immediately or after she lost to Katie Taylor there. I know that they likely were going to be setting up that Serrano fight, but they did part ways, which is very interesting.
Yeah, interesting. I thought she just didn't look that great in that rematch, and I don't know why, but her timing was off, and she was just too eager to attack, and I
have to find out who she's with now, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with this Serrano Taylor contest, and if she's in the mix there for the winner. Say someone comes out depending on whoever comes out on top. So very interesting. If Serrano wins, I'd imagine they want to do a trilogy fight with Taylor and Serrano. But it'll be interesting, depending on how the victory goes, though.
Kind of unfair. I don't know, really. Given that Katie is quite a lot bigger naturally than Amanda, so I don't know if that's very fair. But still, Amanda's got that flair, fighting flair, fire. Yeah.
Oh,
She managed to kind of, really inflict some damage on Katie last time. Esselman,
Esselman. I picked him because he's better than what made the eye right there for sure.
The other guy, I could tell from his record, he wasn't going to win this fight anyway.
Yeah. And Esselman beat what is his name? Tweedy, or what's his name? Oh, let me see. Who was a pretty solid fighter. Let me see. Esselman.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you his name. So I knew he could beat this guy. Oh yeah, he beat Chris Congo for sure. So yeah, he beat Chris Congo. Chris Congo is solid, but there's another guy. Or maybe I'm just. Oh yeah, Antwi. Yeah, Samuel Antwi. So he beat Samuel Antwi and Chris Congo back to back. So I knew that this guy didn't have the experience to beat Esserman.
Says he's from Botswana. Wow.
Botswana.
That's pretty. Yeah. That's where I guess the Bushmen live, but he's not one of them. Obviously, he's too tall to be a Bushman.
Yeah, but yeah, Esserman, yeah, he's one to watch right there. So he's pretty solid just from an overall standpoint. So he did his thing for sure. Skywalker mentioned Jake Paul, a cherry picker. Perry was horrible. I could have fought way better. Yeah, he was. As soon as I saw his technique coming out of there, I was just like, man, this dude is trash. I thought he actually had technique, but I was very much wrong. So yeah, that was a horrible look stylistically for sure.
Jake keeps fighting non-boxers so he can look good.
Well, he said that he wants to be. He said in 2 years he'll be cruiserweight champion. He even threw out the name Jay Opataya. You know what I'm saying? No. I don't think he wants those problems.
He couldn't even beat Tommy Fury. How's he gonna beat Opataya? I mean, Opataya would have destroyed Fury in 2-3 rounds, probably.
Yes, maybe one actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. So he's an interesting guy right there. He's racking up these wins, but yeah, they're not against boxers who are of any snuff, at least right now. And then the majority, of course, are against MMA guys. And so it's going to be interesting here for Jake Paul. He says 2 years, but if he keeps fighting this level of competition, most certainly it's not going to happen. And even if he starts to step it up a little bit, I just think, that's too far of a bridge to cross, you know?
Yeah, sorry, I just remember I want to mention this. So, while I was on vacation, a heavyweight fight happened in UK. You know which one I'm thinking of? Alan Babbage.
Babbage and Fisher. Oh, yeah, I still need to see that, actually.
That was 34 seconds, I believe.
I knew it was a one-rounder.
Yeah, Fisher destroyed, like, he really kind of ran over Babbage, and it was so easy. I knew
Babbage would get knocked out, but man.
Yeah, but not like that. Like, not right away. Come on, man. He looked very determined before the fight, and it was like, tough and talking tough. But I don't know, man. They say he got paid actually as much as Fisher, I believe, or even more. I don't know.
Yeah, they probably had to do that to get him to take this one. Babbage shouldn't be at heavyweight, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I mean he could go down to cruiserweight if he wanted to. I bet, but I don't know really.
And I think we can say with certainty that Johnny Fisher has gotten better, and it looks like he's putting a lot into his conditioning and everything. So he's going to be the real deal.
He looked really good. I mean, fast and good coordination with punches. I mean, in the early fights, I watched him a couple of those early. He looked really slow and, didn't really look very accurate with his punches and all that. But he has improved and, he looks like a British heavyweight hope right now. Yeah.
Definitely. No, most certainly. And, I'm, I got to give him his props. He is one of those guys who I think is going to be a force to be reckoned with as time goes on here. He just... maybe a few more fights under the belt, and he's in there with the likes of a Wardley or something of that.
Yeah, Wardley. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Wardley and Fraser Clark and those guys, And then if he wins that, of course, the road is open for something bigger like Dubois or even AJ or I don't know if Dillian White is still fighting, but yeah.
Oh yeah. That would be an interesting one right there. They could probably lure him in there, but you know what? Wardley at this point, man, that fight with him and Clark, that was a war. And if you just look at it, Wardley, he's shot up there in a short span, and he's taking some damage too. I think he's got scar tissue now.
he had never gone past 6, I think, rounds. And Clark is a huge guy,
Yeah, he
massive
is.
guy, really
He is.
tough. Yeah,
I was surprised Clark was able to go the full distance, so I got to give him his props. You know what I'm saying? Clark is
yeah,
a big dude, and of course, he hadn't had that many fights, and he certainly wasn't known for just going the distance and having a high motor. But yeah, he did withstand. It showed, hey, he can
yeah.
play, he
He
can
was
stay in there.
he was dropped twice and got up, and he gave Wardley hell, man. And that was a even though I thought probably Wardley deserved to win, but
Yeah,
I wasn't that didn't protest the draw that much anyway. It was
yeah,
fair because I mean Clark was in the fight all the
yeah, he
way.
was, and he was able to bust Wardley's face up for sure.
Yeah, so Worley needs to work on his defense. Definitely, he's been too careless and reckless and taking too many punches because usually he was able to end his opponents suddenly, like knock them out. But with guys like this, he's not gonna do that. He's not gonna be able to knock them out right away.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, certainly. And then another one for Fisher potentially, Moises Atama. Yeah, I heard that
Oh
he's
yeah,
penciled in to fight Maurice
that's
Wack. That's what I
That's a
heard.
really wow. That's a great new hope. Also, I mean, very exciting new talent in the
Yeah.
division.
Yes.
Very fast and hard punching. Yeah, I like him so far.
Yeah. So Atama Wack is going down on the 27th. So that's coming up here. So that's a big step up for Atama,
Oh
but
yeah, right.
a needed step up. So I wonder if thinking about it from the standpoint of who Fisher takes on next, if it's actually Fisher and Atama who are headed for a clash. You know what I'm saying?
He's only 19 still at Toma. Wow.
Right. And he's taking on Maurice Watt, who is
Yeah,
he's okay. He's a decent fighter. He's been in there with top dogs at
really.
heavyweight for sure. Usually losing to those who go on to do some good things. So we'll see how Atoma handles him, because this is a big step up relative to who he's faced thus far.
Yeah, I mean, I was impressed by Thomas' performance against Mezenchev because Mezenchev was not a bum, really. He was all right, just
Yeah.
kind of rather solid fighter, but he just got him out there in 2 rounds. So yeah,
Oh
that
yeah.
was pretty impressive.
Yeah, so very, very interesting right there. Very interesting. Skywalker says Nakatani impressed him. Indeed, indeed. Nakatani did his thing. Skywalker says, I spar with Jackson Wink fighters that come to the gym, and I school some tough dudes with my old ass. If you got fundamentals and you fight someone that don't, it's easy work. Oh, yeah, I got you there. Yeah, certainly. Certainly.
Oh,
Skills play the
bragging there.
big.
Well, I believe you. I believe you.
Skywalker says, my friend Baby Drago beats up John Jones all the time in the ring, bloodies him up.
Baby.
Interesting. Yeah, I remember you
What
mentioned
a
Baby
nickname.
Drago.
Baby Drago. Wow.
that is funny. Shout out to my mom dropping there. Says,
Oh,
hello, son and Boz. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you as well. Appreciate you dropping by,
happy
of course.
Sunday. Happy
Just
Sunday.
opened this up on Facebook. I got to figure out what the deal is, because the Facebook, it shows it's private whenever I go streaming live. So I have to go over to Facebook and actually make the audience public or whatnot. It's pretty crazy.
Oh no, yeah, there's a lot of that.
Interesting thing.
Nonsense.
Stop Motion
Yeah.
MMA. What's going on, Stop Motion? Appreciate seeing you here, buddy. Stop Motion says, what's up, guys? Hey, all good, Stop Motion. Hey, glad to have you back in the mix there, buddy. Be sure to check him out, folks. He drops content over there. Stop Motion MMA. Speaking of MMA, yeah, Jake Paul said he wants to take on Alex Pereira in a boxing match, which is another MMA fighter, of course, light heavyweight champion over there in the UFC, which would be interesting, I guess. I think Pereira can take him, but it probably won't happen.
Yeah, I hope not.
Right, yeah. I don't think Dana White's going to allow that to happen, just because he doesn't want that name recognition for Jake Paul off of his fighter. So
Yeah.
So interesting
Nah,
stuff right there for sure. Interesting. Let me see here. I was looking at what are some other ones that happened here recently. Uh, Christopher Beautiful. Yeah, Jaleel Hackett out of this area. He had a good win over Dobson in the opening of the or in the co-main to the Boots Ennis contest. I don't know if you saw that one, Hackett versus Dobson. But
no.
it came right before that Ennis contest. But Hackett, he's
Oh,
up and coming. He's a young fighter. I think he's 20 or something like that, maybe 21. But he's out of this area, and he looked pretty good there handling his business. Didn't get the stoppage, but certainly got the majority of the work off and was really tagging Dobson a good deal of the fight. But Dobson held through, held up for the entirety of the contest, but ultimately Hackett got the deserved victory there. So he's someone worth mentioning. Sky Nicholson got a win as well on that card, and she could be taking on Tierra Brown, or at least she mentioned Tierra Brown's name along with someone else. I can't remember the other girl, but hopefully that happens right there. Tierra Brown, shout out Tierra Brown, do your thing. But yeah, we'll see if that actually happens. But you never know there. Certainly. Stop Motion says Alex Rocha had a good performance, showed some new skills. Indeed, indeed. Yeah, Rocha. Yeah, I think Rocha's a player for sure there at 147 still to this point. It'd be interesting to see how he and Santillan did in a rematch, but that probably won't necessarily happen next. But he and Brian Norman would be an interesting one as well, I would say. Pereira can crack. He's bigger. Yes, he is. He is because he cuts down in weight right there. Potel would be the one to sleep Paul. Oh, yeah. Indeed. Stop Motion MMA says Paul would knock out Alex. Alex has no defense and Jake has power. Plus, Alex is kind of chinny. Oh, you think so there, Stop Motion? Yeah, I've only seen a little bit of video of Alex there in the boxing ring, but he's working with guys with no headgear. So it would be interesting there. It would be interesting. I want Jaleel Hackett versus Blair Klopp, says Stop Motion MMA. Oh, that would be a good one right there. I think Jaleel Hackett has what it takes to really give him a run for his money. And, hey, you could potentially stop Cobbs. You never know, though. Cobbs, Cobbs is pretty solid. So, yeah, that would be a good contest there, Stop Motion. Blair the Flair. He got that win recently over Adrian Broner, or at least what's left of Adrian Broner as a fighter.
Not really all that it looks like, but still, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He also beat Maurice Hooker before that.
Oh, yeah, that is right. Mo Hooker. Mo Hooker had a nice little run, took on some tough challenges, and that is right. Yeah, Mo Hooker, he's pretty much done for now. Yeah. But he had a nice little run there for a bit, and he could punch.
Ramirez ruined him pretty much, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jose Ramirez.
Yeah,
he did. You are right in that regard. So actually, Bob, I'm looking here now as far as what's coming up. And so I've switched over to what is coming up. We got Hooney is going to be fighting Pilcher. Hooney is touted, of course, New Zealand. Yeah. And he was on one of these undercards recently of a big fight not too long ago, right?
Justice Hooney, yeah.
Yeah. So he's someone that is expected to make some noise in the heavyweight division with a lot of promise. So he's going to be fighting Pilcher. That looks like that's taking place on Thursday on the Zone, and it's going down in Brisbane, Australia.
I don't know this guy Pilcher, so he's probably just some,
I'm not sure of him either.
Club fighter probably, but yeah, Honey got a decision over Lorena in his last fight.
Oh,
that was very close, yeah, but he did
so that's a good win for sure.
Yeah, really. His last two also he beat Andrew Tabiti.
Yeah, he's the one. Yeah, he did beat Tabiti. So I said he was New Zealand, but he's Australian.
Yeah, he is actually. Yeah, I don't know where he originally is from. What his heritage is from, but maybe he's from Fiji or somewhere like that.
Oh, yeah, he beat Joseph Goodall as well.
Yeah, you know that guy who used to also fight long ago now, heavyweight. What was his name? Cali Meehan. Yeah, he was from Fiji, but he fought from Australia. Yeah, so probably I think this guy is also Hooney is probably from somewhere like that. Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, probably the case there for sure. So
Mm.
yeah, he's going to be back in the mix. Pilcher, let me see here. Pilcher, I don't know of Troy Pilcher, so he's out of Australia as well, 9-0-1. And as far as resume is concerned, he hasn't fought anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Just
don't know what to expect of him, but maybe he surprises us. He's got 7 knockouts in those 9 victories.
you
But
never know. Yeah.
yeah, you never know. So he is. Let me see. I don't have his measurables here. Looks like a big guy based on the picture, but hard to tell. It's only a headshot,
Yeah.
but we'll
He
see.
looks strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see how he does there, but it should be interesting. Hey, I'm gonna try to check it out. So that's coming up on Thursday of next week. So shout out to Thomas, TD Sports Talk, holding it down from the Bronx. Says what's good. Hey, salute to you there, Thomas. Hey, be sure to check him out, folks. Go subscribe to Thomas, a TD Sports Talk. Hey, he talks boxing and a mix of other things right there, holding it down. NY, let's go there, Thomas. Appreciate you dropping by there, buddy. Says salutes to Boz as well. So salute there to you, Thomas. As always, great to have you here. Great to have you in the mix here. Stop Motion MMA says Khalil Cole versus Dan Aziz should be next, in my opinion. That would be interesting right there. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Khalil Cole is pretty solid. And Aziz, hey, that could be an opponent to take him over the top. And maybe that brings out the best of Aziz. You know, it's an interesting one. I don't know who I pick in that one, Stop Motion, as of right now. But I might lean a little bit towards Cole, even though Aziz is more battle-tested. I might lean towards Cole, but it would be an interesting one for sure. It'll be interesting.
Right. I don't know really Cole that well, but Aziz is really a player right now. It seems like that.
Yeah, Cole just knocked someone out, but Cole, he's very promising, solid. He's got the right size and everything there for 175, and he's looked pretty good thus far. He wants a step-up fight for sure, so that would be an interesting one, most certainly. There was someone else I wanted to see Aziz in there with. What does Ben Whitaker fight at? Did he fight at 175? Let me see.
Ben Whitaker, yeah, probably.
Let me see.
Guy, from Scotland, Willie Hutchinson, he's also pretty good.
Oh yeah, he is. But yeah, I was saying I want to see Ben Whitaker versus Aziz too, or Ben Whitaker versus Cole. That would be interesting. So I think light heavyweight is going to be back jumping here at some point soon, especially especially after we get Bivol versus Beterbiev.
Yeah, that division has for a long time been kind of not that exciting or not very glamorous, but traditionally it was always one of the best divisions. With you had guys like Roy Jones and Tarver and Glenn Johnson and Hopkins and all those guys fighting there. Yeah. Hill, to name a few anyway.
Oh yeah, some big division. I wanted to share real quick what it looks like now. Just thinking about the light heavyweight division. So neither Ben Whitaker or Cole are in the top level rankings. Of course, we know who the two best are, and they're headed for a clash. We got David Benavidez, I guess, operating at 175 now, who we know would make for interesting fights. Joshua Buatsi. I wanted to see Buatsi versus Yard. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen, but it should happen, right?
Yeah, that's the one they should have made already, but I don't know who is being kind of protected. Probably Buatsi, I feel like Eddie Earn has been protecting him too much.
Well, he left Matchroom. He's with Boxer now.
He also left. So, wow. How many have left?
Boxer.
How many have left Matchroom, I wonder, in the last year or so?
Yeah, supposedly he wanted to fight on more than just DAZN, so he left and joined Boxer. And, Yard is with Queensberry. So maybe it's
What?
doable for sure.
Wait, a boxer, is that Ben Shalom's?
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah.
knew
Yeah. So
it.
he left Hearn, which was surprising
Yeah.
for me too, considering he was under management with Anthony Joshua.
Right. That is
So,
surprising. Yeah. I didn't expect that.
yeah. Yeah. He left. Then you have, of course, Caleb Smith, but I guess he would be a decent name against one of these uh, young fighters or something like that. I think Caleb's good, but yeah, probably doesn't beat the likes of a Bivol, of course. Better be as we
Yeah.
know.
His main, I think, problem has been inactivity, and yeah, that's what has ruined him,
Yeah.
kind of.
Then Albert
Yeah.
Ramirez. Why is Albert Ramirez not ring a bell right now? Is that someone I missed right there? Albert Ramirez. You know Albert?
No.
Albert Ramirez, Dominican.
Sometimes
no.
those names just pop out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah, he seems. So he's a Colombian or Venezuelan actually. So he's
They
32.
can usually fight. I mean, they are tough guys, and yeah, usually kind of hit hard. Also, I believe.
Yeah, so he's someone I guess to watch. I had to look into him a bit more because I didn't know him right here off top. Maybe I've seen him and didn't know it. But yeah, Ramirez, and then of course Gvozdik, who was decent when we last saw him, and he was in there with who was he in there with? Oh yeah, David Benavidez. Though Benavidez was all over him. Then Willie Hutchinson, who you mentioned, yep, he's solid. Then
Willie
Aziz.
Yeah. I thought he really dominated Craig Kennedy. Yeah, that was a good fight.
So 175. Yeah. So hey, after this Bivol versus Better Biev, then pretty much the rest of 175 is wide open for the most part. So we'll see. Maybe some of these fights get made there,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I see now. Hutchinson is supposed to fight Watsy in September, and
oh wow, okay.
WBO interim title. Yeah. Wow.
Who do you favor?
That's pretty hard to say, really. I mean, yeah. But I feel like Hutchinson is good enough to beat Watsy, but I don't know if he will, but he is good enough, definitely, I think. But Botsy he's got a good chance as well.
Yeah, Hutchinson looked good last time out. Yeah, it was it's a very interesting one right there. I might lean to watch.
If the fight is very close, which probably it will be, then I don't know, Botsy would likely get the decision because he's just a bigger name, more famous now. Hutchinson.
Yeah, certainly. Indeed. Stop Motion there mentions Joyce versus Chisora, which is next Saturday there, Boz. Looks like Derek Chisora is not close to hanging them up.
The leftovers fight. Yeah, right.
I feel like Joyce has the ability to stop him. We'll see what happens.
He should. If he doesn't, then he should retire, really. If he can't stop Chisora. I mean, Chisora is tough, but he's been out there in so many fights and been knocked out before and stopped by Fury twice. And I mean,
hey, he keeps getting these names. He's like
really goes on.
He goes to the well.
Guy should have retired like 3-4 years ago, probably. I mean, but he keeps getting these big fights because the crowd likes him, and all that. Yeah,
he's
a
fun,
personality, a colorful personality.
Yeah, he is fun. Yeah, colorful as you mentioned. So interesting though. Yeah, so that one is happening. That's next Saturday. So that's so Itoma versus Wak is going to be on that card as well. So very interesting one right there. Maybe one of these young heavyweights takes on Chisora. Maybe that's kind of a consolation prize for them. PD says 147 is really interesting. I'm thinking Tio and Ryan will be fighting at that weight soon. Oh yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Well, if Ryan is,
Teofimo.
yeah, I know if Ryan is will be ready to fight soon. He's right now
Oh
seems
yeah,
to be in bad shape and
suspended.
mentally, yeah, mentally not really well. But I hope he gets better, of course,
Oh yeah,
soon.
yeah,
Yeah,
certainly. So yeah, the verdict's out on where he goes from here. Most certainly. Um, TD says T.O. may fight at 147 this September here in NY. Yeah, that would be interesting. I know T.O.'s thrown out the name Terrence Crawford. Whether he really wants that work, it's very interesting. But yeah, if T.O. goes to 147, of course, Boots Ennis is there. But
yeah,
Boots is a big
that's enough.
147 pounder.
Yeah, that's a big enough, yeah, task for him, definitely.
Certainly. So we'll see right here. So we'll see what T.O. does. I feel like, yeah, he can make the move, but yeah, interesting. Yeah, because Boots is there. You got to go through Boots because Terrence Crawford, I don't think he's coming back down to 147, though T.O.'s been
No.
calling him out, and it wouldn't seem logical him jumping two weight divisions for
Well, if
Crawford.
he should, yeah, if he should lose to Modern, well, then maybe who knows? But
Mhm.
yeah, he's never gonna be
Yeah, true.
a very big 154 pounder anyway. But who knows? Maybe he will not be able to make the weight either anymore for 147. I don't.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's a good point there for sure. And
Being
we'll
at
see.
the age he is, yeah, at the age of 36 or something, 7, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it should be interesting. Certainly should be interesting. Then also Saturday we have a Clarissa.
Something happened there. You
Shields.
froze.
She's going to be moving up to
I didn't hear
Jonice.
all of yeah.
There we go. Oh, yeah,
Some
I needed to refresh on my end. I don't know if you can hear me now.
just choppy. All right, he's gonna be back soon in any minute. Well, now it's only me for the time being. You have to watch me. Here he comes back. Hey,
All
now
right,
you're
back in the
yeah,
mix
you're
there.
back. Now,
All right, yeah, I had
swap.
some connection issues right there. All of a sudden,
Yeah,
the wind's blowing out there. Maybe that's it. But yeah,
you. Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying Joe Nice versus Shields. So Clarissa Shields is moving up to
Oh,
heavyweight, and she's
wow.
going to be fighting next Saturday as well, and she should win. She's taller than the current heavyweight champion that she's taking on, this Joe Nice lady,
Hmm,
and Joe Nice
interesting.
is 7-1, and if you look at it in the heavyweight division, if I recall correctly from when I last looked into it, there's only 21 on BoxRec that were ranked as far as the heavyweight. So this seems like
Hmm,
a tailor-made setup for Carissa Shields to become world heavyweight champion because she is no doubt better than the girl she's facing, even though this
yeah.
girl has the belt. And then if you look at the 21st ranked heavyweight there as on the women's side, I think 21 is like someone who's like 0-1, something like that. So there's
Hmm,
just not enough competition there for it to be legitimately a overwhelming feat, I would say. But she is going to go there, fight at heavyweight, and she should win, which you got to commend her. She'll be heavyweight champion of the world for what it's worth.
yeah. Hmm. Wow. Yeah. I think she will probably win. I mean, this girl doesn't look like she has fought many really good
Yeah.
opponents, and she's got one loss actually by stoppage to
Yeah.
some girl, woman called Alejandra Jimenez. So yeah, but she,
Yeah. So I think
yeah,
that, yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is just tailor made for Clarissa Shields at this stage.
Yeah, actually, I don't know how she is a heavyweight, but I guess in women's boxing it's a little different because for last
Yeah.
fight, Joannis, she weighed like at a light heavyweight limit. So,
Yeah, I think they
but
go
she
straight
has
from 168 or whatever
right.
to heavyweight. I don't think
So
they have a
there's
light
no
heavyweight division.
all right, no light heavyweight, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, from the
But
looks of it, yeah.
she has weighed in about 200 pounds, 220 actually. This woman from Canada. So yeah, but
Yeah.
that was the only time she lost because she was so heavy.
hmm
Wow.
If you look at them during their face off and everything, yeah, you would think Clarissa was the heavyweight coming into the contest. So it's
Right.
interesting. It is going to be
She's
interesting.
very muscular anyway for a female fighter. Yeah, I mean, even though
I think
probably
she's like
not as
5'6".
yeah, even though she's not as defined as what's her name, Baumgartner, yeah, Alicia, yeah,
Yeah.
she's super defined, very muscular, but she
Yeah.
fights at lightweight. Was it? Yeah,
Yeah. She's at 135. Yep. No,
yeah,
130 actually. Unless
but
she's
yeah,
moving up. So
she beat Mayer, who was at 135, right?
yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mayer, she last fought at 154. She moved up to face Natasha Jonas and lost to Natasha Jonas at 154. But that was a
She's
jump
a big,
for.
yeah, she's a big gal too. I mean,
Yeah, she is.
Mayer, she looks pretty,
Yeah, she is.
yeah.
She is. So she's. I know she's called out Sandy Ryan, who's has a belt and is a part of the
Mm,
Matchroom stable. Whether that fight
same.
happens, I'm not sure. But that would be another title shot for Michaela Mayer if that
Right,
actually happens.
Sandy. Yeah, right. That was the one that beat Terry Harper. Oh yeah, I did
Yep.
see that fight. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And Terry Harper, she's coming back. She's fighting someone coming up. Don't recall who, but she is fighting someone. TD
Terry
Sport,
has a pretty, yeah.
yeah. TD Sports Talk says I like Bam to move up to fight Nakatani. I would like that. Oh yeah, that would be awesome right there, Thomas. Yeah, if that happens, big time fight right there. One of the best in boxing for sure.
Mm,
Maybe it happens. Maybe. But yeah. So those are the big ones coming up. But that card, that Shields card, and this is going down in Detroit, so it's a hometown thing for him. It has Ergashav on there. Michael Rivera is going to be making a return. I think Ernesto Mercado. Is that Ernesto Mercado? I think he's going to be yep, Ernesto Mercado. I'm taking on Jose Gonzalez. So yeah, that should be it. Seems like an okay card just from an overall perspective, but we'll see how it goes. And then there's also going to be a Japanese card, Shigeko Taduran, the Filipino fighter. And then we'll move into that Saturday after, which we'll discuss certainly at a later time. And it's a pretty solid card, this Riyadh card. Oh, man, this is crazy. It's a pretty solid card from an
yeah.
overall perspective on that Crawford
And
Madrimov. We'll definitely get to that one.
Yeah, August 3rd. That's a really good card.
Yeah. So, hey, makes it worthy of purchasing.
Yeah. And we needed it. We have needed because we haven't had a really good one since the end of June.
Yeah. Turkey Alashi showing how to get it done. So your other promoters stack these undercards like they're doing there, because that's a hell of an undercard.
Oh yeah.
Based on what we're accustomed to getting, at least,
Yeah, it's just that they get the job done. That's the easiest way to make such a big car. If you had to make it in UK or somewhere, I know USA, that would take a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Just BS. BSC. Yeah.
So we'll see what transpires from here, of course, and some good stuff on tap. Maybe more to come. There's nothing on schedule for PBC, so that's very interesting. They have nothing scheduled, and they have a lot of fighters. Not their own
Right.
card, at least.
Yeah.
They have some taking on some others on others' cards, but interesting for sure.
Yeah, well, there will be some more fights. I mean, next month also that are worth watching, obviously.
Cool. Yeah, we'll definitely tap into those. But yeah, that kind
Yeah.
of covers all the stuff that we needed to catch up on for the most part, I guess. Until we dive into more here next week, or at least that's the aim there, Boz. Dive into it
Yeah.
next week. Some good fights coming up here this weekend that we'll get to chat about.
Yep. Why not?
Hey, with that in mind, everyone certainly stay cool. It's been hot out there. No question about it. Hey, we're trying to duck that heat down here. But for the most part, we appreciate everyone dropping by, those here live. Thomas Stop Motion, my mom dropped by, Skywalker, Bruce Gas, the Nine, as they say. And be sure to check out the Boz. Go follow Boz's channel as well. You'll see it out there. I think it's the Boz.
Yeah.
Is it called Boz right
Yeah.
now?
Haven't made it's just Boz, actually. Just
Boz. Check out
I haven't
Just Boz.
done a boxing video for a while, but I will now. I mean, for next week, and well, yeah.
Cool. Good stuff there, Boz. All right. Well, salute to all. Have a good one. We'll catch you.
Peace. Yep.